So here we are, a week or so after the government flexed its muscle to lock a region down for a positive test in the community. We're again locked down for someone who tested negative 3 times for a virus, but felt slightly unwell. A virus that our Prime Minister tells us kills people. And that's why she takes these measures to keep us safe. Any virus will kill you if you give it the right conditions. And let's not forget that this virus has a 99.6.7% survival rate globally. Yeah, such a threat. So do we lock the population down every year for flu season? No. How about measles? Did we lock the country down? No. Have we ever locked a region down for anything? So when someone tells the population it kills, but they don't have the body count they predicted and told the nation to prepare for, what do? Well, you move the goalposts to get the desired result. So if you're rushed into hospital for, let's say, final stages of COPD and they swab you, after your death, if you test positive, you will be counted as a COVID death, even though COVID didn't kill you. Is that not falsifying a death record? Where are our pathologists, our coroners, our medical establishment? Where are they? Why are they not screaming from the rooftops as to how wrong this is? But hey, let's never forget.
We will continue to be your single source of truth.
It may not have been what we did originally, but now if you have a test, then isolate at home until you receive the result.
And I will just reiterate again, this was an individual who had gone through managed isolation. We drum in that messaging around the dangers of COVID pretty diligently for a full 2-week period of sustained propaganda. Full 2-week period of sustained propaganda.
I once watched a nation peacefully stand up and say no to the world's largest navies and their nuclear-powered ships coming into our waters. I've spoken to men and women who stopped their lives to get on boats to go to the other side of the world and fight fascism and tyranny. I've also watched the Berlin Wall come down, where a population had had enough and said no more. And they peacefully turned around 30 years of government oppression to regain their rights and their freedoms. But it took them over 30 years. How long is it going to take the population of this country to stand up and say no more lockdowns? Because the longer we acquiesce to this, and our Prime Minister continues to con the nation into believing she has our back, the worse this will get. And there will have been almost no point in 75 years worth of education about fascism if, when it appears, so many look at it square in the eye and decide it cannot possibly be what it obviously is. Now, there are 2 components to this virus that make it dangerous to you. The first component is the media. Once upon a time, we had journalists in this country that would have grilled this government on every aspect of the last 12 months and taken them to task when they could not answer simple questions, thereby exposing the con we're currently seeing ourselves in with every lockdown. And sadly, that's a profession that is long gone. There's barely been a whisper from any of them challenging the government. Instead, we're bombarded with hourly content-based marketing. Articles have gone from "it will kill us" to "an experimental vaccine will now save us." And today we're seeing articles focused on turning neighbour against neighbour, family member against family member. Because if you don't wear a mask or you don't scan, then you're going to kill us all. The media have been training you to be worried about someone not wearing a mask or wanting the vaccine. Yet here I am, just a dad, raising a healthy girl in a really unhealthy world, wondering why our global elites, our politicians, royalty, and our celebrities have an unholy fetish for our children. You would think an island where they all go to rape, sodomize, torture, and abuse, kidnap children from all over the world would never leave the headlines until they were all hung, drawn, and quartered. But here we are. Instead, we have stories of an inconvenient cold with nearly 100% survival rate. And that's been in our face for over a year. And we must be told we're a team. We are not the same people. On the weekend, I met a gentleman whose family had lived through the torment of East Germany. He'll tell you that the major force behind the conditions they found themselves living in began with the government's control of the media, to use it as a platform to enforce their propaganda. And this is how our government have and will continue to keep you living in fear. But you can eliminate this component of the virus simply by turning it off. Now, the second most threatening component of this virus is this. They are coming for every aspect of your life. What you eat, what you drink, what your children learn, what you say and cannot say, how you think and where you can go. You simply have to go to the Parliament website and see the legislation they've either pushed through, are pushing through, or plan to push through. You will own nothing and you will not be happy. While the population are locked away and being thankful they're still alive in this pandemic, the politicians are busy eroding every aspect of what we call our lives. Now, the last 12 months was not about health. Neither is this or any other lockdown. If it were about health, the marketing messages during this pandemic would have been about improving your health. Instead, the government has paid out over 20 million so far for marketing campaigns that are the opposite of improving your health. And it has taken the majority of the nation hook, line and sinker. And after a decade in marketing, I can honestly say that if I had a client with a budget that size, I could convince the nation to drink their toilet water. I actually think we're at that point anyway. So how does this end? How do we return to normal life as we knew it and dispose of their new normal that we're being forced into? The answer is quite simple. The challenge is believing in yourself and believing in what is right. But the more people that begin to start to have open conversations, the more people collectively begin to question the direction this virus is taking us, the more people will begin to look at the devastation that lockdowns are having on businesses, incomes, families, relationships, our mental and physical health, and most importantly, our children. The more people will begin to say, no, I do not consent. And all of this will end. The government narrative will implode. Now, there are people talking, there are people doing something. There are places to share your concerns without the fear of threat or ridicule. There are far more people questioning this dystopian nightmare that we're seeing unfold than you would believe. Don't be afraid to stand up and speak out, because your children will be forever grateful that you did. It took the people of East Germany over 30 years. How long will it take us? Good luck with your vaccines, folks.